Aloha everyone, and welcome to this episode of Sincerely Alana. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about physical health with our special guest, Estrada. Well, physical health is kind of a really big deal, and there's this common belief that most Pacific Islanders struggle with their physical health, specifically with being overweight or obese. Okay, so for Pacific Islanders, I can think of 3 specific things that would affect their physical health, specifically their weight. So first of all, historically, Islanders have always eaten off the land. We typically ate healthy with, fruits and veggies and actual organic products. Fast forward to today and introduce colonization as well as Western society and the get food fast concept. We have been introduced to a lot of junk and things that just are not healthy for our bodies. Our bodies don't really know how to process this junk, and as a result, we just tend to hold on to all that unhealthy junk in the trunk. Also combine this with the fact that most Pacific Islanders live either at, around, or below the poverty line, which means their access to healthy food is basically non-existent. Healthy food is so much pricier than junk food that it just makes it really difficult to obtain. So compare a $1 double cheeseburger from McDonald's that's gonna fill you up for a lot faster and a lot longer compared to a $5 salad from Albertsons. It's kind of a no-brainer, especially when you are tight on budget. Second of all, historical trauma does play a factor in the decisions that Pacific Islanders make. Even though sometimes it might be unconscious or subconscious, whichever one of those two, the way that Pacific Islanders choose to deal with their historical trauma varies and can lead to things such as bad and unhealthy decisions or habits like drinking, smoking, other recreational drugs, and basically just other addictions, including addictions to overeating, that is a thing, as well as playing video games too much, or binge watching TV, spending too much time on electronics. This basically reduces their physical activity, and addictions just aren't healthy. It consumes way too much of your mind and has too much say on the things that you do. Third of all, many traditional or native elders or families are reluctant to get health advice or seek health care, especially from Western institutions. Reason being is that Western medicine does not recognize culturally specific diseases, ailments, remedies, diagnostics. They don't recognize it. They don't think that it's a real thing because science doesn't prove it. However, what science does prove is that the psychological factor of denying somebody their ailment, especially if it's culturally specific, does play a huge role on their physical health. So the best ways to overcome this healthcare gap is to get more people in the hospitals, especially around those indigenous areas, that understand the culture, the importance of that ailment, remedy, however they want to go about it, and also to have somebody in that hospital who speaks the language, at least one person. It's always good to have a translator to make the patient feel comforted and supported through whatever it is that they're going through. Now, I'm not saying that every single hospital should have somebody that speaks a crazy indigenous language or who understands all the cultural factors that go into indigenous people culture, but hospitals that are within proximity of indigenous peoples or traditional indigenous land should have the accessibility to those traditions. So yeah, those are really the 3 main things that I think go specifically hand in hand with indigenous people, specifically Pacific Islanders. However, this does cover most indigenous people. Keep in mind though, we still face the same health barriers as normal everyday people. So things like disabilities, freak accidents, coping mechanisms, mental illnesses, etc., all play a role into our physical health. So that leads me why I have Alex here today.
What's up? Hey guys.
Alex, as some of you guys know, is my boyfriend. He is also going to school to learn more about physical health and training and giving back to the community to really benefit Everybody.
The youngers.
The youngers. The
The
youth.
upcoming, the youth, the old, the elders, whoever's out there that wants help. We're here.
Yeah.
So currently I'm at Southwestern. I have a few more semesters there until I can transfer to Good University. I grew up playing baseball, and we did a lot of training and working out and practicing, and I feel like I gained a lot of knowledge on lifting and exercising. So if I can give that back to some people to help them properly do a certain type of exercise or build their knowledge about baseball, then I'm down. That's my passion, and I get a good fulfillment out of it. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm obviously trying to finish school and get certain certificates to better myself. So that's where I'm at. So
The thing that I really admire about Alex is that not only is he focusing on the physical aspect of health, but he's also done his own research to learn more about like spiritual health, and he gets the help from me about mental health, and he does his own research into it. But really it is like the holy trinity of health. If you have your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health, you are going to see a huge difference in your life and everyday habits. But in order to get there, it is a lot of work. So that's why Alex is here to kind of explain how he balances all three of those aspects, as well as what you can do to help change your lifestyle and get to that healthy point in your life that you want to achieve.
I try to work out 3 times out of the week. Say one day I like to focus on my back, my forearms, and my biceps. Another day I work on my triceps, my tries, my chest, and my shoulders. And then another day I'll do some legs, cardio, core. And then if I have another, like 4th day to work out, I'll try to hit some hard cardio and some core. But you can't really hit every muscle in one gym session. And I feel like that's what some people forget about sometimes, is they go in and they don't realize all the muscles that they could be working out. It takes a lot of time and research and
Practice.
Discipline.
Oh, yeah.
Discipline to, better yourself in that aspect. But
Hit the muscles that you want to hit.
yeah, it's definitely, you got to go in with a game plan before going into the gym.
A big part of maintaining a healthy lifestyle is also, it really is doing your research. I mean, there are so many resources out there. I know YouTube is a big one, especially if you don't like reading, which there is no shame in that. I mean, reading is boring at times, especially when it's about something that you don't necessarily want to read about, but you should, like health. Like changing your health and your lifestyle is a really significant change, and it's not something that comes easy, and if it does come easy, it's because you're either used to it or it's something that you really, really want and you're dedicated to. But more often than not, I don't find that that's the case with a lot of people.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not a habit, a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And it's something that you do practice, because you practice those actions to make it into a habit, and then changes it into a lifestyle, right? So besides just working out, there's also the part about what you put into your body. So what do you think is probably your like go-to healthy snacks, healthy foods or dinners?
I would say almonds. I eat a lot of almonds.
All the time.
Yeah. Tuna. I like drinking black coffee. I don't know.
Explain the science behind black coffee, because not everybody knows that. I had no idea what that was until you told me. Like why black coffee helps your is it your metabolism that it helps?
It burns fat, something like that.
So do your research behind this too, but
yeah, I've heard that black coffee helps you like burn fat, and it kind of blunts your appetite a little bit. So if you do get snacks, like a munchie time, you kind of are able to avoid it and hold it off, and yeah, it burns fat. So
well, I feel like that's kind of the same thing with drinking a lot of cold water, is that the more cold water you drink throughout the day, the less hungrier you are later, right?
Yeah. Definitely fills up my stomach. It just really depends on your body type and what you're trying to do, because some people could be cutting a whole bunch of carbs out, but then another person could want to be lifting and gaining muscle, which you're going to need to intake a lot of carbs, but it kind of just depends on what your plan is.
What your goals are.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in finding a consultant to help you in your journey to maintaining a healthier lifestyle, I will leave the link on my website under community, as well as in the link to the spot, as well as in this bio, to reach out to Alana Fitness. They are like my number one go-to when consulting about health and also working out. I can also set you up with an appointment. Just reach out, make sure to hit the link, or contact me on the contact form on the website, sincerelyalana.weebly.com. So exercise and eating right is only the first part to achieving your healthy lifestyle, and like we said, it is something that you should consult somebody about, as well as do your research, because it is specific to the goals that you are trying to achieve. So besides just the physical health, mental health and preparedness is also a huge part about maintaining your physical health, as well as just staying overall healthy. I know we talk a lot on this channel about mental health, but we've never really addressed how significant it can impact your physical health.
Vice versa. Vice versa too. How your physical health can help your mental health.
Yeah. If you feel good on the outside, you have better imagery of yourself, you feel better about yourself. But also if you feel good on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. So what would you say was the moment you realized that your mental health affected your physical health so much?
Honestly, when I played baseball.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because whenever I felt good, whenever I dressed good and I felt good,
Yeah.
so I feel like when I went out and I felt good, I went out and I played good.
Gotcha. So when you felt good on the inside, you played hard on the outside.
I played better on the inside.
Outside. For those of you who don't know, Alex had to stop playing baseball after a while due to a shoulder injury, and that was a very difficult time for him. And
that's why I want to get back to the younger baseball players, so
train them to prevent that stuff from going on. So my question for you is, during that time when you weren't playing baseball and when you didn't have as much physical activity, was there a point where your mental health declined, and also was there a point where you realized picking up your mental health was the key to going back into your physical health?
Yes, definitely, because when I was done, when I knew I wasn't going to be playing, and after I had surgery, I couldn't do nothing. I knew right away from the moment I had surgery, before I had surgery, that I wasn't going to be in a bad state of mind just because I wasn't going to be able to work out. But now that you mention that kind of brought me back to revive my mental state.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it did.
I'm so good with these questions. Look at me.
Because before that, I never really paid too much attention to it. But then after that, I did. I read The Power of Now, and then that was a turning point, and that was after surgery. So
yeah, that was a rough time.
Yep.
I just so happened to come around at the time when your shoulder was really doing bad.
Yeah.
Literally the day of my birthday, which was probably a month after we met, the first birthday that we spent together, that same day he got a cortisone shot in his shoulder, and the doctor basically told him he'll never be able to play baseball again.
Yep.
So that was that. And I remember that it basically took you a year to get the surgery because you were nah. He was scarred after that shot. So that whole year leading up to the surgery was kind of dark for both of us. We were both in a really dark point because he was told he wouldn't be able to play ball. I had just lost my grandma, and that's when I was just on my own. So we were both going through a tough time. Now that I think about it, it was really dark.
Yeah. Dang. I was ready to play ball, man.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And he was good. Like, this is 2012 senior Little League world champion right here, okay? Not world champion. Almost world champion?
United States champion.
United States champion, that's how you put it. But he's awesome. Like, he could hella play. So when that happened, it was just a dark time. And then after the surgery, oh, that was hard. It was hard to try to help to take care of him and pick his spirit back up. But that we took a class, and a friend recommended that book, and he read it, and his whole, like, outlook on life changed. Like 100%, 180 in attitude and personality. Like, I had Alex back. He. Better version of Alex, actually. So yeah, if anybody's interested in reading that book, I'll also put that in the link in the bio to this YouTube video. And I will also put it under resources on the Sincerely Alana website. And that'll be under the mental health section.
That book's mind blowing for sure.
That book also helps you connect spiritually too, huh?
Yeah.
So can you explain what the difference is between religious and spiritual?
So religious, I feel like that's like going into churches and praying to God, having those type of beliefs, reading the Bible. But for me, spiritually, it's connecting on like a deeper level of like, I don't want to sound crazy, but like of molecules and atoms and humanity and cells and DNA and stuff. It's a bigger picture. I feel like that's kind of where my spiritual intellect comes into play.
Yeah.
With science and space and all that stuff. So.
And you love science.
Yeah.
For me, spiritually is more like the connection to humanity, but also the connection to your environment. So, especially for Pacific Islanders, going all the way back to that first point where, historically we live off the land. Historically, we're also very connected to the land. We're connected to each other, to the earth, to animals, to plants, like life in general, and being able to worship that. I feel like that is the difference for me, at least, between spirituality and being religious. Which religious is...
You got to think too, because the people that the indigenous people, they had their land, so they had less distractions of the colonization compared to Britain, and you can see all the madness that they had going on there. But then you take that, you come to opposite land of indigenous people, and they were really spiritually connected to their nature and their roots. So that's...
It's a huge difference.
That's, I feel like, where a big disconnect happened, even to like why the world is today how it is today. Like, I'm not indigenous. I'm Mexican, but but just seeing it on a bigger scale and learning about human history, it's a crazy thing to see how something that happened in 1300 AD is still effective today. So
to me, it really is just all one big continuum of a chain of cause and effect. And that's why I try to hit so much on historical trauma and intergenerational communication, because the actions from the past really do affect what goes on today. Like today, if you compare our spirituality to how we were before colonization compared to today, it's a huge difference. And I feel like the advancement of technology and how it has just consumed so much of our lives, it's taken up a big part of that spirituality. And not only does it lead to a disconnect with other people, but also within ourselves. Like, we become very numb to real emotions and feelings. And when we spend all this time focused on technology and social media, it takes away from our person-to-person interaction, and it also just limits what you're able to do physically. Like, it's like an addiction. Social media is an addiction. Compare it to video games. When you spend all this time on it, you're not going outside, you're not getting exercise,
everything's an addiction. Social media,
yeah.
TV, food, it's all pretty much manipulated in our face to keep consuming it.
Yeah.
Keep consuming it, keep buying it. And that's where our human mindset has gone, and it's pretty sad.
Yeah. It's like this, and this is how it connects all back to physical health. When we consume all this new technology and social media, and when it's become such a habit because it's forced in our face, it's a habit for us to be on TV, it's a habit for us to be on our phone. These are the small little things that we need to change, because we need to make it a habit to put our health first. We need to make it a habit to eat healthy, to exercise, to even make your own you time. Like, you time is so important for your physical health, because that is you reconnecting with yourself and your body and that essence of spirituality within yourself.
I feel like people think it's so normal just to be on their phone, or it's normal to watch TV, or it's normal to do what's normal. But is it really a normal? I don't think so. Do whatever you want to do, bro.
There is no normal life situation. But to go off of that, I know all of you watching this video has at one point been walking down a hallway by yourself, and because you didn't want to talk to the person that was coming this way, you went straight to your phone. That's disconnect. Like,
dude,
that person's not going to, well, I mean, I can't promise that person's not going to do anything bad. But 99% of the time, that person's not going to do anything bad. You're just passing by. It doesn't hurt to take the 2 seconds to say hello. But that is that lack of personal interaction that I'm talking about, where it's like your phone has become such a habit and such like a safety blanket that you are just desensitized to human interaction.
Yeah, you're desensitized to your physical health.
Yeah.
You need to fix your physical health.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Sincerely Alana. I hope you guys liked it. We touched base on physical health as well as how it interacts with your mental and spiritual health. And I want to thank you for coming on this episode. If you guys have any questions or want to know about any other resources, please check out the website, sincerelyalana.weebly.com. Share this video, give it a like, and be sure to spread peace, love, and positivity. Mahalo. Do that.